Hey there, crochet friends. It's Dayna from Nellie DeeCee Crochet, and today I'm going to show you how I made the Lightning McQueen Graphghan for my grandson. Now, obviously I can't show you the whole thing because it was a purchased pattern, and that would be wrong, but I will show you how to make it. I'll show you a portion of the pattern, and give you some tips and pointers how to make it and change colors with half double crochet stitches and then double crochet stitches. And then hopefully I'll be able to get to the corner to corner. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. Well, let's see, I have my notes to make sure we go over everything. And here is a portion of the Lightning McQueen pattern, and this is from 2 Magic Pixels. So if you want to purchase the pattern, you can run over there. And this is just a small portion of the pattern and that I used. I've got some different. Today I'm going to show you with a J-hook, and I've just got some regular worsted weight yarn, and so I've got 3 different colors I'm going to show you with. Alright, to get started on this Lightning McQueen Graphghan, I'm going to show you with a half double crochet first. So I'm just going to do a sample, so because I've already finished it and I've already given it to my grandson, so obviously I can't show you from the actual piece, but I thought, well, this would be helpful. So right now I've made, when you get started, you're going to make chains of however many squares are in your full pattern. Let's see, this is the full length of the pattern. Anyway, I can't remember how many chains there are, 100 and something. So plus 2. Okay. So anyway, once you've made your foundation row of chains, then you are going to count over 2 chains, and go into the 3rd one, okay? 2 chains from the hook. Can you see me? Yeah. And start making your first row of half double crochets. Do you know how to do a half double crochet? Okay, you yarn over, insert your hook into the chain, grab yarn, pull it through, yarn over again. Now you've got 4 on the hook, and pull through all 3 left over there. Anyway, so yarn over, go in. All right, so go ahead and make, if you're just doing a sample with me, you can go ahead and finish off your row. This is row 1 of your Lightning McQueen Graphghan. Okay, this is how row 1 will be for any Graphghan that you're doing a half double crochet. Okay? All right. I'll see you when I get to the end of the row. Alrighty, we're back. So I've just got a couple of chains left, and I thought I would do that with you. There's one, and another, and actually that was the last one. So that was the last stitch, and the way that I did this is that on the pattern, maybe I should have used the colors in the pattern. What's over here? Okay. But this row is actually the very bottom row of the pattern, and you start at the bottom right corner. So I've done this much of the pattern. If this pattern, if the first row was just yellow, I have done the first, whoopsie, that's only 10. There, I've done that much. So you start at the bottom right, and in this, the way I'm doing this one, each square is a stitch, okay? So now when you get to the end of your row, now let's pretend that this is the end of the row. There. Then we're going to chain 2. And turn it, turn your piece. So I'm not counting these 2 chains, I'm not counting that as a stitch. Turn it and start your next stitch in the first stitch. See, that's actually the first stitch. Okay. Now, let me talk for a minute about how to keep track in your pattern. See, this is the one I've already used. It's very messy, but this is extremely important. And so here are some important tips right here in the middle of this video. If this was the bottom of the pattern, which this is not, it's somewhere in the middle. But if this were the bottom of the pattern, I think I might have thrown the rest of it away, but you would actually, this arrow should be going this way, pointing that way. So I start my pattern and I put an arrow going the direction I'm gonna crochet, okay? So you put an arrow here. Now if the row you're going to crochet has color changes, well, then I put little dashes where those color changes are, okay? That helps me to keep track of exactly what row I'm on, because as I go up, it helps me see that the last row I've put any marks is the row I'm on, and the rest of it is clear. The rest of this would be clear normally, okay? I hope that makes sense. Then at the other side, this is even before I start crocheting that row, I see if this were the bottom row of the piece, then the arrow would have been this way. Wait a minute. Pointing that direction, okay? When I get to the end of that row, then I'm going to start with my arrow going that way, because now we're gonna crochet to the right. If you're left-handed, you probably would start at the bottom left instead of the bottom right. And everything, the arrows would be the opposite. Does that make sense? You only do the arrows of the row you're on, so you don't do the arrows up ahead of time. That would be extremely confusing. All right, so I'm going to pretend, well, anyway, let's pretend this is yellow, because maybe I should have started with blue. But we're going to pretend this is yellow, and we're going to go 5, 6, 7 stitches over. And then we're going to change color, okay? And I'll show you how to do that. So right now I've already done 2, and we're going that way now. We're actually on this second row from the bottom. And it says to chain 7. I'm only going to stitch 6, and then I'll show you why. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm not stitching the 7th because the 7th row is where I'm going to start my color change, and this is how we do it. We start our stitch and we get this far, and before the last yarn over, I bring my yarn that I've just worked on to the front. Hold it with my thumb. I grab the next color that I'm going to use. You know, have a good little tail there. Yarn over and pull it through. Okay? That helps to get the next color started for the next portion. And here it's showing me I've got 8. So I have 8 stitches. So now I'm going to yarn over with the new color. I'm going to, because sometimes I like to anchor the new tail a little, so I might stitch on top of it for just 1 or 2 stitches. So let's do, there's 1. Now I'm just going to put that tail in the back. Another half double crochet. Another one. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, because the 8th one is the change. So I'm going to get started on the 8th stitch to, whoopsie, to this point. I'm not going to yarn over the last yarn over and pull through. I'm going to bring my color to the front, grab my next color. Where is it? I should have been better prepared. There it is. Okay, I'm holding it with a little tail, yarn over, pull through the 3 blue ones, and now I'll make my first stitch. There's the first one. Okay, and I'm going to keep the tail in the back. Here's the second stitch. And the third stitch, the last one of this row. Remember what we did? Chain 2 and turn, and we don't count that as the first stitch. Okay, now, then at this point I would go back to my pattern and put my arrow in the opposite direction that I just did. I would make my little dashes between all the color changes so I can keep track on that particular row. Okay? All the way across, and say if we're going this way now you follow along in this direction. All right. So at this point, if we're going to say, let's say we're on this row, and we actually have to go in a square for the next row of that color. This one's black, but I'm using red. We'll pretend my red is black. Okay, let's get how, I'll show you how we do that. I'm gonna get to the point, whoopsie, what's going on here? Let's try that again. 1, 2 half double crochet, and 3. Now, since I'm going to change color on the next one, now at this point, I bring up my color, yarn over with my old color, and we get to this point. Now I'm going to bring the old color over like before, and now I have my new color again. So we're not cutting the yarn, we're just kind of dragging along. Oops. There. And then it's ready to start the new color. Okay? And I continue along. Now, if my color change shows that, for example, right here, see how in this case we're going to finish the yellow before the row ends like the previous row, and we need to come in 2 spots right here. I'll show you how you do that. Here we go. We get to the end of crochet along until instead of 2 stitches before the end of that section, you get to the 3rd. Okay, so for example, this black is going to be like in this stitch and in this stitch. But this stitch, the 3rd from the end of that blue, is going to be the change row. So we're going to start the half double crochet. Now, bring this over and grab the new color and loosely bring it over and pull through. You want it to be kind of loose. Otherwise your piece is going to pucker, and you don't want a puckered piece. Okay? So now it's there. When you, this is important, when you start crocheting here and you've got this piece of yarn that you've pulled across, watch this. You want to be sure that it's on top here and that you're doing everything with it hooked in like that. Does that, whoopsie, sorry. Can you see? In other words, you don't want it to be under the stitch. You don't want to crochet with it under, I can't even do it now, the stitch like that, because then you will have this line. You're going to have that line there, and you don't want that. You want it to be hidden within the stitch. So you got to keep it up here above the stitch you're working on. Yarn over and make sure your new color, the pulled across piece, I don't know how else to put it, is with it, because it's going to be hidden, and the next one too. So make sure you go under that yarn. That's, see the pulled across one? Look, isn't that cool? It's hidden. Do, 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 do. See how that was? That's what this is, these 2 stitches here. Now, I hope this has been helpful. If it's confusing and you still have questions, just let me know, and I'll try to make a video and clarify it. All right, it's Dayna from Nellie DeeCee. Over and out.